What if the most authentic moments in your life were the ones you paid someone else to perform? That's the devastating question at the heart of Rental Family, Hikari's 2025 masterpiece that dares to examine our modern crisis of connection through the lens of professional intimacy. But here's where it gets controversial. This film suggests that sometimes fake relationships might be more genuine than the real ones we've forgotten how to nurture. Directed with remarkable restraint by the filmmaker known simply as Hikari, this Japanese-American co-production features Brendan Fraser in what might be his most emotionally complex role to date, alongside Takehiro Hira, Mari Yamamoto, Akira Emoto, and newcomer Shannon Gorman. The premise that will make you question everything. Fraser embodies Philip, an American performer struggling to find his place in Japan, who discovers work through an unusual rental family service. His job? To step into strangers' lives and play whatever role they need. Sometimes a caring father figure for a lonely child, other times a gaming companion for an isolated adult. These aren't just acting gigs, they're emotional transactions in a society that has monetized human connection itself. But here's the part most people miss. While Philip provides paid companionship to others, he simultaneously purchases his own artificial relationships to fill the void in his personal life. The irony cuts deep, and Fraser navigates this contradiction with heartbreaking authenticity. The narrative structure deliberately mirrors the fragmented nature of these rental relationships. We witness scenarios that feel lifted from melodrama. Surprise father reveals, fake elopements designed to facilitate real love affairs, strangers bonding over video games. Yet Hikari refuses to treat these moments as mere plot devices. Instead, she positions them as the very foundation of contemporary human interaction, asking us to consider whether capitalism has become our primary language of love. Fraser himself acknowledged at a recent screening that Rental Family confronts what he calls the loneliness epidemic plaguing modern society. His character Philip maintains his closest relationship with his agent, a person he's never met face-to-face, communicating only through phone calls. The man who rents himself out for emotional labor also pays others for companionship, creating a circular economy of manufactured affection where the only person who knows his real identity has never seen his actual face. And this is where the film becomes genuinely unsettling. What happens when the boundaries between performance and reality dissolve completely? Fraser's career-defining transformation. Post The Whale, Fraser has evolved into something entirely different from his earlier comedic persona. Here, he doesn't bulldoze through scenes with physical comedy or dramatic intensity. Instead, he moves with deliberate gentleness, his imposing frame seeming to bend not just under Tokyo's low doorways, but under the emotional weight of everyone else's unfulfilled needs. His performance captures what it means to absorb other people's grief and longing professionally. Like some emotional shapeshifter, Fraser channels multiple lifetimes of pain and hope through a single character, making Philip both universally relatable and uniquely tragic. Takehiro Hira, recognizable from Shogun, delivers a perfectly calibrated performance as the rental agency's owner. His character represents the pragmatic side of commodified emotion, someone who understands the business of manufactured relationships while quietly questioning their ultimate value. The dynamic between Fraser and Hira becomes a study in contrasts, one man preserving the illusion, the other wondering what authenticity might actually feel like. Shannon Gorman deserves special recognition for avoiding every cliché associated with child performers. Her grounded, understated approach provides the film's emotional anchor without resorting to manipulative sentimentality. She represents hope without naivety, vulnerability without helplessness. Hikari's directorial mastery. What sets this film apart is Hikari's refusal to oversell her own premise. A lesser director might have drowned the father-daughter storylines in saccharine manipulation or pushed the lonely gaming companion scenes into crude comedy. Instead, Hikari trusts her performers completely, finding profound emotional resonance in what remains unspoken rather than what gets explicitly stated. She directs, like a composer, understanding that the most powerful moments exist in the spaces between dialogue, in the lingering pauses after an actor's services are no longer needed, in the quiet recognition that both client and performer have been changed by their brief intersection. The film's visual approach, courtesy of cinematographer Takehiro Ishizaka, transforms ordinary Tokyo locations into intimate emotional landscapes. Fraser navigating convenience stores, wandering through parks, ducking under doorframes. These aren't transition shots, but the actual substance of the story. The mundane becomes profound when viewed through the lens of purchased companionship. The soundtrack that shouldn't work but does. Alex Somers and Jónsi from Sigur Rós provide a score that somehow manages to be both ethereal and grounded in human experience. While perhaps not their most innovative work, the music serves the film's needs perfectly, layering scenes with emotional depth without overwhelming the subtle performances. The reimagined version of David Byrne's Glass, Concrete, Stone proves particularly effective, reinforcing themes of artificial construction in human relationships. The controversial truth about modern connection. Here's what makes Rental Family genuinely provocative. It suggests that our traditional understanding of authentic relationships might be fundamentally flawed. In a world where genuine connection has become increasingly elusive, the film asks whether paid emotional labor might sometimes provide more honesty than conventional relationships built on unexpressed expectations and unacknowledged needs. This isn't advocating for the commodification of human connection. It's acknowledging that commodification has already occurred and examining what that means for our collective emotional survival. The third act delivers a conclusion that feels both inevitable and surprising, using the very constraints of its rental relationship premise as narrative strength rather than limitation. Without spoiling specifics, the film's ending suggests that even temporary connections can create permanent change, that brief encounters can reshape entire life trajectories. Final verdict and the question that matters. Rental Family stands as one of 2025's finest cinematic achievements and arguably represents Fraser's career peak outside of the Mummy franchise. It functions as both comfort food for the emotionally isolated and a challenging examination of how we've learned to survive in an increasingly disconnected world. The film's only weakness might be its own emotional efficiency. Some viewers may find the neat resolution too tidy, the impact too ephemeral for their taste. But that criticism misses the point entirely. Rental Family doesn't promise lasting solutions to modern loneliness. It simply offers proof that meaningful moments remain possible, even in the most artificial circumstances. In a society increasingly starved for authentic human connection, maybe believing in moments is enough. Maybe the distinction between real and performed emotion matters less than we've been taught to think. But here's the question that will keep you awake tonight. If you could rent the perfect family member, friend, or companion for an afternoon, would you? And more importantly, should you? Rating: 4 out of 4 stars for both artistic achievement and entertainment value. What do you think? Are we heading toward a future where paid emotional relationships become the norm? Or is there still hope for organic human connection? Share your thoughts. This conversation is just getting started, and honestly, your perspective might be more valuable than any professional review.